Well, the lady you talk about is Tamika Wright.
Yeah.
And, I interviewed Yella and we talked about Tamika and how she got married to Easy when he was still in the hospital. And there's always been some debate whether Easy was actually fully conscious when this happened or not. And what Yella told me with real confidence was that, yes, Easy actually was fully conscious when he married Tamika. He wasn't like no one grabbed his hand and wrote a fake signature or whatever else. At the time, he was still lucid and he was still completely there. And, and Yella even went into detail because he said that, his partner was actually at the hospital every day with Easy and he actually saw it happen and everything else like that. So he was saying that it wasn't like she didn't just basically rob Easy of his empire as he was dying. Easy made the decision to give it to her. And Lil Easy kind of said something somewhat similar because he said at the time there was really no one else that could really take it over and, that he trusted because his parents were too old and they didn't know anything about the business. So he felt like Tamika was the best choice.
But she wasn't. But I understand, if that's true, then, it is what it is. But she wasn't the best choice because his kids, they don't benefit from nothing that he's done, from none of the monies he made, the company, none of that. So she wasn't the best choice, but, it's his business. He did what he did. I just hate to see my friend go like that, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's like, I don't know. I feel for his children more than anything, bro. Because they got the short end of the stick. They got to live with that. Your father is Eazy-E, majorly famous, rich guy, and y'all don't benefit at all. And it's not like y'all didn't know who y'all father was. Like, y'all know him. Especially the oldest kids, they had relationships with him. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's all they got. I had a famous father. He left a fortune, but we didn't get it. That's fucked up, Something is crazy. Something is crazy about that to me.
Okay, so what you're saying is in 2021, all his kids, aside from Tamika's child that they had together, don't financially benefit at all from this estate.
Not at all.
At all.
At all.
Huh.
At all. She tried to pacify them from what I heard with little things like she tried to buy him Toyotas and like just goofy little shit. She tried to like buy them little things that she thought they would, I don't know. She probably thought they were cheap or something and just tried to give them some kind of little handout, but that's their shit, bro. Like that shit belongs to them. And even if you took it over once they became grown, you should have did right by them. You understand what I'm saying? Like, but
Well, I mean, when a famous rich person dies, there's usually
so Vlad, you being a rich person, let me ask you this: you have lawyers and things, right?
Yes.
Would your lawyer allow you as a rich man to go without having a will? Ain't that something that lawyers usually tell you that you should have in place just in case? You know what I'm saying?
Well,
from what I know,
it depends. Well, lawyers are funny.
Lawyers are funny as shit because lawyers are all about money. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, when you're paying someone $500 an hour, you don't speak to them unless you absolutely have to.
Okay, but do you have a will?
That's an expensive conversation. Do I have a will? No, actually, I don't.
Really?
I don't. Yeah,
why?
I actually don't have a will.
You don't think that's important?
Well, it's kind of a bigger conversation, and you and I will have that conversation offline.
Okay.
But to clarify the situation a little bit, what happens after I pass has already been worked out. So a will itself isn't exactly necessary for my plans, but essentially I have plans. To answer your question properly, I have plans in terms of what happens with my money after I'm gone.
Okay, well, that's sort of a will then, right?
Sort of a will,
right? It might not necessarily technically be that, but you have
it's sort of a will. So easy to not have, But then again, a lot of times you don't think of wills when you're young. I mean, do you think that Easy had any inkling?
Easy had money for a long time, bro. Easy had money since the 80s up until the mid 90s. Like,
Yes.
And
I
having
get that.
somebody as smart as Jerry Heller as your manager, you understand what I'm saying? And the other friends that you have,
Right.
it just, in my mind, you know what I'm saying? And it's just my opinion. I would have thought that he had a will, bro. You understand? Like, it just
Yeah,
makes
but
sense to me.
he also wasn't planning on dying at 30
He
from a
wasn't.
disease.
Nobody, I don't think nobody plans on dying, bro.
No, from a disease, like, yo, like that. You don't plan for shit like that. I don't think Easy was like, all right, well, I'm out here
but
fucking
even
without
still,
condoms. I might catch,
you're in the hospital,
you know,
you're dying. You're in the hospital, you're dying, right? Why not make a will then? Because you
Why not
don't know
make a
what's
will
going to
then?
happen. But you're going to get
you know,
married
well,
first.
at that point, that's when the will actually needs to.
Okay,
to really,
then is what I'm trying to
yeah.
say. It's like, you
No,
know, so
I
it's
get
like,
your point. I get your point.
Yeah, I don't know.
I get
Something
your
fishy,
point.
man. Something fishy
Yeah,
about that whole
some
situation.
fishy. I feel you. I feel you. Well, you know, one of the things that Yella said was that he was the only member in NWA to actually go to Eazy's funeral.
He was. And I was there to witness that. That's absolutely true.
You were
Yep,
there.
a bunch of other celebrities, like I think Belle Biv DeVoe, all them people came. I seen like R&B singers and all type of people. But Yella, as far as NWA, yeah, he was the only one. It was other people that was on Ruthless that were there. But as far as NWA specifically, he was the only person there, yeah.
That's kind of weird.
That's weird and it's crazy. And it could be the area. I'm gonna give him an excuse to say because of where the funeral was, it wasn't the most ideal place to pop up and show up at, because it's in a gang territory, right? It was First AME Church, and it's in the Rolling 20 Bloods. And they whole hood came to the funeral. Let me just tell you that. Like they was really respectful though. They were super respectful. They know Eazy was a Crip. They know probably most of the people who was gonna show up coming from his neighborhood, and his friends was gonna more likely be Crips. They was super duper respectful, bro. But I could see that deterring people coming into that area, though. I could see that. So I'll give them that excuse at the most. You know what I mean? But yeah, they didn't come.